The Chicago Bears just made an aggressive move. And what I like about this move is that it's not earth shattering. It's not a starter, but it's just a simple fact that Ryan Poles, as our GM, he is making moves via trades, getting players of value and not just grabbing players off the scrap heap. So, with that being said, the Chicago Bears acquired Chris Williams just today, and the team announced that today. And that's according to ESPN's Courtney Cronin. The Bears sent a 2025 sixth round pick to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for the veteran defensive tackle. And they also sent over a 2025 seventh rounder. And here's a little bit about the pick. It's the pick that they required when sending Chase Claypool to Miami last October. It's not the potential sixth rounder from the Justin Fields trade that could turn into a 4. Okay, so let's make that clear. And this move was telegraphed a little bit. Matt Eberflus, he expressed concern over the defensive tackle depth just on Thursday night. And I'll go to this story on Bleacher Report. I mean, there is a lot of uncertainty, right? Zach Pickens, who knows when he'll be back from injury. And the Bears added a player that has experience in this defense in 2020 through 2022 in Indianapolis. And now he's part of our interior defensive line. And once again, I just love this. Veteran depth on the defensive line at a much needed spot. Very little investment, still keeping the cap fully healthy and flexible. We just need to trust GM Ryan Poles. And in this player in particular, we need to trust Coach Matt Eberflus because he has history with this guy. He knows what is coming to town. So his previous stats, his previous performance, and that he hasn't really played a ton. I think we need to trust our head coach on this, that this might be a quality ad. And as far as the telegraphing, this is following the Pickens injury. Here's to hear directly from Coach Flus. Yeah, it's not as strong and as deep as you'd want for sure. So there is a concern there. We'll be looking at that as we go. I know Coward's done a nice job in there for limited time he's played, and in practice he's looked good. So we'll have some options there, but we're definitely going to look at that. And proof that depth might be needed. Let's look no further than this last preseason game against Kansas City, right? Their rookie running back, Carson Steele, he had 50 yards on 4 carries. Really good game, right? But the carries went right through the teeth of the reserve defense. No bueno. No bueno. Poor gap integrity. Help, please. GM Ryan Poles, he just provided it. And I'm going to close this. Once again, looking into this, I just love the Taylor move. And today, the Williams pickup, they aren't just looking at the scrap heap. They're not just grabbing cut players and waiting until Tuesday. GM Ryan Poles, and I'm sure with help from Coach Flus, once again, they're identifying players and making low-risk moves to fill out this line. Just some really nice moves here. So let's see the present situation outside of the starters leading up to this, and then a little about Williams so we can get to know him a bit. So the group is looking at being comprised of fourth-year player Byron Cowart, second-year player Michael Dwumfor, and a trio of just some undrafted free agents: Jalen Hutchings, Deshaun Mallory, Keith Randolph Jr., who is no slouch. He is the player that I really, really like out of these guys. But not many of these players are expected to make the 53, right? The team's cutting down to 90 players on Tuesday, and it's just going to continue. So a little about Chris Williams. He's entering his third year. He doesn't have a ton of playing experience. He's played in 13 games, but he just has 107 defensive snaps under his belt, so not a ton. But here's the thing. Once again, Coach Flus, he knows this player well. He does have experience with him, but Williams should be considered more of a depth piece for the Bears. And that's considering his history in the NFL to this point. We've got to be realistic. Not every player signed is going to be, the stud, the future at the position. But this is really good depth. And the 26-year-old, he entered the league as an undrafted free agent out of Wagner in 2020. Signed on with the Colts, made the opening 53-man roster to begin his rookie season. So this dude made the 53 as an undrafted free agent. Spent 2 years together in Indy in 2020 and 2021, and as you guys know, that's when Coach Flus was the Colts defensive coordinator at that time. Undrafted free agent, in 2020. He spent the year on the practice squad, and the year that he made the team, to have a correction, was in 2021. So his second year with the team, he actually made the 53. And then we're looking at last season. He's bounced around a little bit. He spent some time on the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. Then he joined Cleveland's practice unit until mid-December, signed a reserve future contract with the Browns in January, spent the summer with them until this trade. Kind of looking over these 13 years, 13 games, not 13 years. He knocked 6 tackles, 1 quarterback hit. And as I pointed out yesterday, the Bears began the weekend with 3 6th-round picks, one from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the one that could become a 4th rounder if QB Justin Fields, if he plays 51% of the team's offensive snaps or more. That's not the one that's traded. The one that just got traded was the one from Miami from the Chase Claypool trade, I believe. And the Bears also traded their own pick just this weekend. So, and that was to get Taylor. One of those was packaged in the trade for Taylor. It left the Bears with 2 other selections. Now, Chicago's football team has just 1 6th-rounder left to play with. And hopefully that 6th-rounder turns into a 4th. And once again, just such a low risk move, much needed depth. And in the end, I really like how the Bears are finding creative ways to use these day 3 picks. I mean, when you think about how GM Ryan Poles has created day 3 draft ammo in the past, he's traded back, and it's nice to have a use for these because 6th-round picks aren't typically bringing in valuable players typically, unless you really hit on one. So I'm not concerned about having a lot of late round draft pick ammo next year. And we're looking at a lot of draft swaps, a lot of player swaps that you're going to see, especially up until Tuesday. And I just expect more moves. I think Chicago's going to continue to make more moves. GM Ryan Poles has his head to the pavement, and I just expect more work to be done. And I also want to tell you that I am absolutely fine with Randolph Jr. getting more opportunities. He's perhaps the most underrated pickup on this team out of the University of Illinois. He's a local guy, undrafted free agent. I think it was a huge travesty that he was not drafted. I think it's one of those situations that he's overpowered by a really highly drafted player as far as perception. During this college season, during draft season. So he kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. And I think he's just a solid wrecking ball type of player to have on this team. I already expected him to play productive and meaningful snaps this season. It looks like this just might be fast tracked a little bit. But once again, I think the Bears are going to make another move leading into Tuesday and following. And I don't think they're going to be scrap heap moves. I think Chicago is still going to possibly do another trade, possibly sign a player from another team that they're going to just not outright cut, but make available. So you guys, let me know what you think. Bear down. This has been so much fun this offseason, but I can't wait until real football. And I think you feel the same. You guys will talk soon. And thanks.